In a tiny village located deep within the distant places of the African savannah, there lived two sisters who loved themselves so much in spite of their imperfections. Their names were Abana and Labake. Abana, the eldest, possessed a beauty that seemed to radiate from within. She could never have come across a group of people without having them momentarily change the topic of the conversation to her. She was a symbol of beauty around the village and beyond. Her brown skin was the color of rich mahogany, her eyes like the pools of volcanic obsidian, and her smile could light up even the darkest corners of their humble abode. Labake, on the other hand, was plain and bland. She had substance, but they were not rich enough for the charm and captivation. Her spare features were unremarkable, her hair unruly and always unkempt, and her eyes held a hint of bitterness. She was a sharp contrast from her sister. This sparked off some controversy within her, even though she didn't voice it. From a young age, Labake harbored a deep jealousy toward Abana. It is said that kids are innocent and know nothing about biases or dissensions. But the case of Labake was different. She hated her sister with intense venom. The villagers adored Abana, showering her with compliments and gifts. They would invite them out on meals and outings in the name of Abana, but the duo always went out together on these joyous moments. Abana's laughter echoed through the market square, drawing people like bees to the combs of honey. Labake watched from the shadows, her heart twisting with resentment. Why did everyone love Abana? Why was she the favored one? Abana was an outgoing person. She had the ability of carrying on conversation effortlessly. Labake, on the other hand, was a shy and introverted person. Naturally, they were the opposites of each other in characters, and so one got to be more easily endearing than the other. Well, as the years passed, Labake's envy festered. She would steal glances at Abana as they fetched water from the communal well, her mind concocting dark fantasies. She would have devious wishful thoughts. What if Abana were gone? What if Labake could claim the spot for herself? The mind is directed by our sheer will, but there can be reversal possibilities because it can mislead us. So when Labake let her mind incubate these deadly schemes and eventually controlled her choices, she wasn't the one controlling it any longer. That afternoon began to wane into early evening that day. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the dusty path. Abana sang in the low tones, one of her favorite songs as she balanced a raffia basket on her head, her hips swaying in rhythm. She was heading toward the orchard to fetch some fruit from the orange plantations. Her father had requested for a collection of some for his consumption. While she was on her way, Labake quietly followed her, her footsteps silent, her heart pounding hard. She had made up her mind. She was consumed by hate so much that it warped her reasoning. When Abana got to the orchard, she thought she was the only one there. In the peaceful serene farm, where the trees whispered secrets to the wind, Labake confronted Abana. Her voice trembled as she spoke, revealing the depth of her bitterness. "Why do they love you?" she spat. "Why not me?" Abana turned her eyes wide with surprise. "Labake, what's wrong?" Labake's hand clenched into fist. "I will show them," she hissed. "I will show them all." And then, in a moment of madness, she punched Abana a couple of times. She hit her so hard to make sure she hurt her to death. The clay pot crashed to the ground, shattering into shards. Abana stumbled backward, her eyes filled with hurt and confusion. Labake lunged, her fingers wrapping around Abana's throat. The word blurred as she squeezed. Fueled by rage and envy, she planned to suffocate her. Deep in the maze of the plantation, she was sure to kill and bury Abana in a shallow grave and go home undetected. After all, their father had sent only Abana to the grove. Also, To cover her tracks even more properly, Labaka gave everyone the impression she didn't go with her sister on this errand. Abana's struggles weakened, her breath coming in desperate gasps, the supply of oxygen to the brain, without which she would be dead, became so thin and absent intermittently. Labake's vision tunneled, and for a fleeting second, she revealed in the power coursing through her veins. She drew so much power from this banner that it made her feel very powerful and happy. But then reality crashed down upon her, the weight of what she had done. Abana's dying eyes pleaded for mercy, and Labake released her grip, collapsing beside her sister, two of them side by side, one sprawling for life and one gasping for air to breathe into her lungs. "I'm sorry," she whispered, streaming down her face. "I never wanted this." Abana coughed, her voice raspy. "Why, Labake? We were family." Labake confessed everything, the jealousy, the bitterness, the twisted desire for validation. Abana listened, her gaze never leaving Labake's tear-streaked face. Abana embraced her with teary eyes and with natural, genuine, and unfiltered love, said very calm and soothing words to Labake. "You were always enough," Abana murmured. "You didn't need to take my life to find your worth." The tears streamed down their cheeks, uncontrollable. Abana had survived momentarily from the choking effect on her throat, but it was just a matter of time before the effect would relapse and she would be unable to manage it. If only they had gotten help. She died. Labake, unable to bear the burden of guilt, ran home for help, told her father about the incident. After they rushed to the scene and attempted to resuscitate Abana, she died. Labake confessed her involvement. The villagers mourned Abana's passing, but they also saw a change in Labake. She tended to the garden, sang songs at the communal fire, and smiled at strangers. Unlike her, unlike her previous reserved self, her beauty, once hidden beneath resentment, blossomed like a desert flower after the rain. And so, in the quiet moment before sleep, Labake would whisper her sister's name, promising to live a life worthy of forgiveness. For Abana's memory and for her own redemption, she will carry the weight of both love and regret until she drew her last breath. And the African savannah continued to tell their story, the tale of two sisters forever entwined in jealousy, forgiveness, and the fragile thread with which humanity is spun. So my advice for you viewers is, love your siblings unconditionally. Never be jealous of anyone. You are beautiful and wonderfully made by God. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications.